In this video, I'm going to show you my second rental property investment. I'll cover how I purchased it and how much profit it's making me every single month. The property also needed a light refurb, so I'll show you before and after footage of that too. I'll also talk through the improvements made to the property. So with that said, let's grab a coffee and get right into it. To purchase the property, I used a buy-to-let mortgage. This required a 25% deposit, which was £15,000, as the agreed purchase price was £60,000. The property is a 2-bedroom, 3rd floor tenement flat. It was in decent condition when I purchased it, but I thought it could still benefit from some general freshening up. This would help with letting out quicker, as it would stand out as a much nicer property compared to some other properties in the area. And of course, it may also help with achieving a slightly higher rent, but the main thing is getting it rented out quickly so there are minimal void periods. Essentially, I don't want the property being vacant longer than it needs to be. And of course, I want to give my tenants a nice place to live. They are paying me for a service, so I want to make sure that I do my best to provide them with high quality accommodation. So as you can see, the property before was a bit tired. I definitely could have let it out like this, but I don't think that this would be my first choice of where I'd like to live, so why should I expect my tenant to want to live here? So as you can see, the carpets are a bit tired, walls could benefit from a fresh coat of paint, the fireplace looks very dated, and those avocado green tiles in the bathroom are not very trendy to say the least. And the kitchen is generally looking quite tired, but I had a plan for how to freshen that up on my very limited budget. In the main bedroom, there wasn't much to do except for paint and carpets. It was a similar story in the living room, except there was that dated fireplace to deal with. The brickwork was painted grey, the old fire inlet was painted black, and the mantle and shelving was all painted gloss white. This immediately freshened up the whole room, and I think it now makes for a nice feature in the living room once again. The bathroom was also transformed on a very limited budget of just £125. We went from this horrible avocado green to this trendy subway tile. I made a whole video on exactly how I did this and how I kept to such a tight budget, but I'm sure you'll agree the bathroom is looking much nicer. If you want to check out the video on how I completed this bathroom makeover, it's linked on screen and in the video description. The second bedroom also didn't need much, just some paint and carpets, and I installed a new blind as well. The kitchen was also transformed on a very limited budget of just over £100. For this I managed to go from these tired looking cabinets and tiles to this much fresher look, with the cabinets now grey, and again I used the white subway tiles with grey grout for the backsplash. I've also made a whole in-depth video on the process I followed to make over the kitchen whilst keeping to such a tight budget. There were also some awkward issues to overcome as well, so if you want to see that video and find out how you too could complete a project like that, then the video is linked on screen, and I'll also include a link in the video description. The last thing added in the kitchen was a new and bigger fridge for the tenant, as this one was a bit small. Now that you've seen the work completed to get this property ready for tenants, let's go over some of the numbers. This will allow us to see how much everything cost and how profitable this investment might be. So as I mentioned earlier, the property was purchased for £60,000 with a buy-to-let mortgage which required 25% deposit of £15,000. Other costs included with the purchase were the mortgage broker fee, legal fees and stamp duty, which came to a total of £3,500. After acquiring the property, there were some electrical costs to cover. This was for an electrical installation condition report, portable appliance tests for the white goods, and then a repair that was also needed to one of these circuits in the flat. In total, the electrical costs came to £245. The final initial outlay costs were for the refurb that was carried out on the property. All in, this cost £1,300, which means the total for the initial investment into this property was roughly £20,000. The property is now let out to tenants and is achieving a monthly rent of £490, which means a gross annual income of £5,880. However, there are some other costs to deduct from this. I used a letting agent to market the property and find tenants, and they now manage the property on my behalf on a fully managed contract. This costs 10% of the monthly rent, so that takes profit down to £5,292. I also have rent protection insurance, which costs £14 a month, so that now takes profits down to £5,124. The building insurance costs £130 per year, so that's now £4,994. We also need to put money aside for maintenance, so let's go with a conservative estimate of 10% of gross rent. So that's minus another £588, bringing us to £4,406. And something I almost forgot about is the letting agent setup costs of £480, which brings us down to £3,926. And now the final cost is the interest paid for the mortgage each month. This costs £143.35 per month, so that's £1,720.20 per year. This then brings us to our net income amount of £2,205.80. Taking our initial investment amount of £20,000, we can find out our annual return on investment. We do this by dividing our net income by the initial investment and multiplying by 100 to get it as a percentage. So doing that means that this investment is providing an ROI of 11%. This is not bad, but it could be better. My plan is to hold the property long term as part of my retirement plan. 11% return on investment per year is very good when compared with other assets like stocks. And let's not forget, this doesn't even take into account any capital appreciation that the property might see. So that about rounds up this video. You've seen all there is to see on my second rental investment. If you want to stay up to date with my investing journey, then make sure to subscribe so you see my future videos. And on a final note, if you enjoyed the video, perhaps learned something new, or maybe feel inspired to start your own investing journey, then it'd be greatly appreciated if you could like the video. Currently, only around 8% of you watching right now are actually subscribed, so it'd be great if you could subscribe and we could boost that number up. And finally, if you have any questions, then don't hesitate to ask in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.